Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I wanted to talk about something real quick that crossed my brain and something that I wanted to share. It has to do with the stock market and why I think the stock market is a great place to put money. It's where I've put my money, most of my life. If you go back, and as a finance professor, I've taught college students for 25 years. I've looked at data going back over 100 years, and basically throughout, most of America's economic history, at least the last 120 years or so, the stock market has always been a really good place to put money, especially if you diversify in the right way and spread your money out. Even with the Great Depression, even with things like that, the stock market still, there's never been a time where it went down and it didn't recover. So even a crash has actually been a great money-making opportunity for people if you have long-term thinking. The key is to think long-term, to think long and wide, not short and narrow, meaning you're not trying to make money tomorrow, you're trying to make money 5, 10, 20 years from now. Also, you're not thinking about making money from one stock, one lucky stock. You're making money from a portfolio of stocks, right? But anyway, I wanted to share a quick thought about the importance of, or why I believe personally, again, based on, my years of research on the stock market, stuff like that. One of the reasons I believe that the stock market is a sound place to put money is because the stock market is a huge priority for the government. The stock market is seen as a psychological indicator of the well-being, economic well-being of our society. And so let's say that the president of the United States wakes up one morning and they tell them, or they tell him, 100 people got killed in Bangladesh. And then they also say, oh, and by the way, the stock market dropped 5% last night. The stock market is going to get top priority. The stock market is going to get top priority over almost anything. There's a plane crash. There's this, there's that. Doesn't matter. Stock market is going to get top priority. And when it gets top priority, what happens is that the nation puts all of its economic and political medicine into pushing the market back up. So the Federal Reserve has tools in place that boost the economy, which inherently boosts the market, because the market grows in value based on how the companies are doing, and how the companies are doing depends on how the consumers are feeling, and the way the consumers feel depends on how the Fed runs monetary policy, right? So my point in all this, not to sound complicated, not to make it complex, is that basically the reason that the market rarely has long crashes of more than a few days, maybe a couple months, is because when there is a little bit of a dip, the government puts a lot of energy into the market. So it's almost like if you've got, 2 kids in the house, and one child is the adopted little redheaded stepchild. The other one is the prized beloved child, right? So whenever the prized beloved child sneezes, somebody runs up and gives them a tissue. If the beloved child acts a little sick, they rush him to the hospital. If he says he's hungry, they feed him right away. Then you got the other child, he could be sitting there starving to death. People check on him about once a week. He looks like he's getting sick. They just say, well, I hope he doesn't die, right? They just kind of leave it. And that's like the difference between the way the United States government deals with the stock market versus how they deal with, say, domestic policy. That's why all your bridges are failing and your roads are garbage and America's infrastructure is falling apart. It's because that's the redheaded stepchild. They kind of deal with it whenever they feel like it, if they have extra money laying around, whereas the stock market gets first money, etc. When President Obama got elected, first thing they did was they pumped almost $1 trillion into the banks, right? They could have gave that money to consumers. They could have put that money into certain industries. No, they went to the banks on Wall Street and gave them that money. Is it right? No, I don't think it's right at all. I think it's kind of ridiculous, but that's how the government works. So my thinking as an investor is I don't think so much about complaining about the way things are run or trying to automatically feel like I can change everything, because I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. It'd be very difficult. I just look at the way things go, and I try to connect my interests with the interests of the people that have the power to make adjustments in the economy. And the stock market has typically done pretty well. Same thing with the real estate market. They've done pretty well because they tend to get propped up. And so that's why the stock market, you don't see the stock market, you don't see it crash for very long. If it has it might have a bad week, bad couple of days, maybe even a bad month. But it rarely has bad years, and it almost never has a bad decade. So historically, the stock market has been a great place to put money, and people who have missed out on that have missed out on a ton of wealth, a ton of passive wealth. So I encourage you, all that little extra money, you might be spending on, clothes or shoes or going out to eat or going to the movies. The new Black Panther movie comes out and we all go buy our Wakanda outfit and we all go and spend our money at the, on the Black Panther movie. I encourage you to take some of that money and put that money in the stock market and invest some of that money. That's going to be the defining factor that determines the haves and the have-nots, the survivors versus the non-survivors. Black wealth is expected to drop to zero by 2053, but that doesn't, the median black wealth is dropping to zero. So that means half will be above, half will be below. The question you must ask yourself is, which half do I want to be? So I'm about to go, guys. Have a good day. If you want to know more about investing in the stock market and stuff like that, I have a great class that you can go check out. I think you're going to like it. It's at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Feel free to go check that out. I think you'll like it. So take care, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good day. Be good. Peace.